back to the Populist Pulse. I am your host, Dino, and I am joined by my co-host, Corpse, here. And we
What's
are back for the first time in a couple of weeks since the Trump inauguration, and we are just here to cover everything that's happened between then and now, which is a lot, just in the first, I don't know, it's only been like 2 or 3 weeks, and already so much shit has happened. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into all of it. Um,
okay.
uh,
Yeah, I would like to add. I would like to add something
yeah.
to that. With how much is happening, what I find funny is that it seems like Donald Trump is utilizing unitary executive theory, which is what basically Dick Cheney believed in, which was that the president and the executive branch has the ultimate power. So I find it pretty funny that he endorsed against the one guy that actually planned on using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a little tangent I thought of right now.
Because I mean, they did it first, you know. This
Yeah,
is
but
the
they
only way
used
to
it for like,
undo everything that they've already done, you know.
yeah, it's like the thing is that Dick Cheney wanted to use it for evil.
Yeah,
Um, Trump actually wants to use it to make this country better.
to
So
unfuck
there's one big
fuckery,
difference.
basically.
Yeah, but anyways, I think for our first topic for today was, well, it's not really a topic. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but it's uh, Donald Trump has, I think, in the past few days or so, he has revoked former President Biden's security clearances. So the former president will no longer be receiving national, I think, was it security briefings?
Um, Intelligence briefings. That's the word. Yeah, intelligence
Yeah,
briefings.
and this actually is because uh, former President Biden did it first
That feels
to
so
Trump
good to
when.
say, but at the same time, it's so weird to say former President Biden, you know?
Yeah, I like. No. The thing is, I love using that because it seemed like the mainstream media and everyone else kind of loved saying. I know it was like what he actually was, former President Trump,
Yeah,
but I think it was like trying to like shove it in his face almost
yeah.
at points. So I like using that phrase. I know it's like weird for me too because I don't. I've gotten so used to Joe Biden that like as president that like seeing Trump in the White House again, it's like so weird.
It's
And calling
surreal at this point, yeah.
Biden former President Biden, that's just like
Yeah.
it's so weird. But yeah, this is basically revenge for what Biden did to Trump, which I was not even aware of until like a few days ago when this actually happened. I didn't know that Biden took away Trump's security clearance or briefings or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and he took away it wasn't just Joe Biden. It was I find it funny. First of all, I don't understand why Letitia James and Alvin Bragg had security clearances anyway, but he took theirs away, which is kind of fucking based. Um,
Yeah, um, I think it might have been that maybe they received them after like they started going after Trump, because they knew that they would be like, well, they thought they would be like targets for like, you know, any sort of like attempts against them. I don't know how it works,
yeah.
but that's it was weird to me that they had such high, because like one's just like a district attorney and one's just a state attorney general.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really understand it either, but hey, whatever. Um, and he took away Antony Blinken's security clearances as well. Um, and I believe he also took away John Bolton's, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he took away both his security clearance and his
And his Secret Service, yeah.
yeah, he actually did that for Fauci too, and Mike Pompeo.
Yeah.
I mean, Pompeo's. totally useless. Basically, I mean, like he was all right during Trump's term, but he's a neocon,
He was the guy
and
that was trying to push to extradite Julian Assange like the whole
yes,
time.
and I do remember when me and you met in like that one server. I, the owner of that server was pushing for the ticket to be Trump Pompeo. I am so fucking
Oh
thankful that was
yeah,
not
who
the
the fuck
ticket.
was that?
That was JBL.
Oh my god, dude, I forgot he even existed.
Yes, he was always pushing for it. I never like really had faith in that. I felt like that would have been like the same exact thing as
Trump
Reagan.
Pence. It'd just be
No, no,
continuation of Pence, pretty much.
and Reagan choosing Bush, where like the president chooses like a former intelligence officer.
Yeah. I
I
didn't
mean,
realize that Bush was CIA or whatever the fuck until
yeah,
like a couple
actually,
months ago. I like just found that out actually.
yeah, yeah, he was. His whole thing was foreign policy, basically, which is why he actually lost re-election
Yeah,
because he was so focused on the foreign policy that domestic policy was like he had no fucking clue what he was doing.
yeah. What was the famous line? No new tax, read my lips, or whatever.
Yes,
I
yes.
think it was that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, the Congress. I mean, for the longest time, for like 50 years, the House was controlled by the Democrats, but still, that's no.
Yeah.
If you say that and then you break your promise, then you deserve to lose. But anyways, I I think. Did you want to add anything else to this topic?
No, it's just kind of something that broke a couple of days ago, and I figured we should cover it. It's not really big news, but it is kind of big news because now the 46th president no longer has security clearances. But yeah,
I mean, I don't really think like. Does he really need them?
I
I
don't think
mean,
they do, honestly.
I think it's more of a formality.
Yeah.
Maybe like to see if like there's any threats against their lives, but
Well, the
if there are
idea
threats,
when they started doing this, the idea is that a former president would be able to assist the current administration and tell them, like, based on my experience, here's what I think you should do about this
oh,
situation.
that's what JFK did with Eisenhower. He called Eisenhower during the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, but nowadays you're never going to see that. I think like the last time that a sitting president has called to ask for advice from a former president, believe it or not, was well, aside from Biden, because he probably like
He
was
probably
on the
was
phone
talking
with
to
him.
Obama like 24/7, yeah.
Yeah, but like in the way that it's supposed to be used, like not like as like basically giving orders, but like for advice, was believe it or not, Donald Trump and Jimmy Carter in his first term
Really?
when they were, yeah, he used to call Jimmy Carter, and I've just found this out around the time that President Carter died, and it turns out that he called him like on a few occasions about the immigration situation back in his first term,
Huh.
which I find pretty funny. Like I,
'Cause
from what I've
Carter was
seen,
like what, like 80 at the time? Like,
uh, late '80s, early '90s, and basically, Carter, uh, he just told he basically told the president to have like you know humanity or whatever. Like that was Jimmy Carter's thing.
yeah.
Like no, nothing against him. Like I think he was just too ideal of a man to like really see what
He
needed to be
wasn't
done.
really like the kind of guy to make tough decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I will always appreciate his like humanitarian work, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
when it's when you're president and you need to do what must be done. Then yeah.
All right. But jumping into the next thing is that Trump signed a whole litany of executive orders just in the past like week and a
Like
half.
this could like be like the topic of an entire episode, but I'm pretty sure Dino has condensed it.
Yeah, yeah, I did condense it into the most important ones because I really haven't like looked through every single executive order to really, because some of them are kind of repetitive, you know. Um
They're just like generic conservative
yeah.
policy, and some of them are like really like minor, but I think like he did like on inauguration day he did that event at the Capital One Arena that it was like the replacement for the like they did the inaugural parade in there. And
Hmm.
he signed a bunch of the executive orders in front of his
On
fans, which I
stage,
found
yeah.
hilarious.
I like how the first one he signed when he was on stage was to undo 50 executive actions by Biden. Like, first thing, he pretty much just undid everything Biden did.
Yeah, I there was one thing missing though that he said he would do on day one. It's the Keystone Pipeline
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
but I
He was gonna
I
turn it
looked
back
into it.
on.
I looked into it, and it turns out that the Biden administration, they um, they actually they fucked it beyond belief, like beyond repair. So it's just not feasible anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
I
like
thought
from
it
what
had
I
already
hear, like
been built or something.
no, uh, from everything I researched, it's like it's just not feasible.
Oh, damn.
So that's why it hasn't been turned on, which is very unfortunate because I know there was a lot of people who lost their jobs because of that on day one.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of a heartbreaker. But just to name a few of uh the orders that Trump did on hang on day one is that Trump did a federal regulatory freeze. So any federal regulations um, are are pending review now, and um, the the OMB director, which is Russ Vought, can exempt any rule that he deems necessary to address emergency situations. But otherwise, all federal regulations are frozen for the time being, which is huge because that's what Trump did the first time is regulation cuts, tax cuts, etc. Um, the second thing is he did a hiring freeze, so there will be no more federal government workers hired, at least for the foreseeable future. Um, and I was actually really shocked by this one. I didn't think he was going to go through with it, if I'm being completely honest. Is that he signed an executive order ending birthright citizenship for illegal aliens. So
That
essentially,
was that was a
um,
huge victory for the immigration crowd. Of course, it got
it's
it
frozen now.
it's
Yeah.
indefinite. I'm from what I'm looking into right now. It's been indefinitely like delayed or whatever by some some judge somewhere, which I knew that was going to happen, but
Yeah,
at
we
least
all
he,
expected it.
yeah, at least he uh, attempted to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the 14th Amendment was never for that. It was to protect the children of freed slaves after the Civil War.
It's very outdated, and I'm really interested to see where the legal jargon goes with this and how it actually turns out.
I mean, we're not saying we need to like since slavery is no longer an issue in the United States of America, uh, it's not like really like that much of a like the 14th Amendment as a whole is like basically a Civil War relic. I mean,
Right.
nowadays there's no issue of like slavery or um, like even when they talk about like the insurrectionists holding office, unless like you directly take arms against the United States.
Which isn't really happening
Yeah,
these days.
Trump never did that. Let me be clear. Donald Trump never did that. He was in his full legal authority to contest the results of the election, which I think two or three people did in the past. One of them being former Vice President Al Gore, and I believe Andrew Jackson,
Right.
the first Democrat president. Um, so he was in his full right to do so, and any like attempt to like equate the January 6th riot to an actual like rebellion is, I mean, we've gone over this like hundreds of times the past 4 years. It's not. It was not an insurrection.
It's retarded, yeah, the whole thing. But, um, damn, you kind of made me lose my whole train of thought there.
Well,
Um,
we were talking. You were talking about how he ended
oh,
birthrights.
yeah, yeah, the legal stuff.
Yeah,
So the legal side of this is, when Trump takes this to court and argues his side, um, they're gonna argue uh the definition of jurisdiction in the 14th Amendment, um because back then jurisdiction referred to um I don't remember the specific argument, but jurisdiction referred to something else, so they're gonna argue like what does that mean in terms of today? And we could even see the whole thing go up to the Supreme Court, in which case I don't really think we're favored there. So, best case scenario, it gets overturned in the federal courts, um, or maybe it gets unfrozen at some point and gets held up in the legal system for like the next couple of years,
yeah.
which
I mean, this is basically what happened with Roe v. Wade. Basically, what happened is that some women's organization um, sued Mississippi's abortion law, which I believe is one of the strictest in the country, and
yeah,
it eventually got like sent up. It got like, I don't know how long it took, but it eventually reached the Supreme Court, which I seen some arguing that they wanted like that's what we should do with birthright citizenship, but there's a lot of swing justices on the Supreme Court right now.
yeah. So we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah,
Um, uh, because that's gonna be a whole like thing this year, and I don't really know what to expect for it from it or what is gonna happen. If Sotomayor retires this year, and we can appoint somebody that like agrees with our interpretation of the 14th Amendment, then we might actually have a shot.
she would.
Uh,
She's not. She's not going to retire by will, because we have a Republican president right now and a
yeah,
Republican Senate. What would most likely happen? I know this would piss so many liberals off because, like, remember in 2020 when Justice Ginsburg died, and
yeah,
they were like holding like she was like a hero of 2020,
yeah.
basically for the liberals. Um, Nowadays, she is looked back on in disdain because she was clearly not well. Like even in the many years beforehand, she was suffering health issues, and she didn't retire under President Obama. So now she's looked at in disdain. So I mean, I think you saw Justice Sotomayor at the inauguration. She looked like
Yeah,
garbage.
she looked like shit. That's
Yeah,
why I keep saying that. But
she
you're
might.
right. She probably won't retire.
If she croaks, then holy,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah,
another Ginsburg situation where they like. This time there won't be like any like heroics or like hero worship. It's just going to be pure disdain because we just had a Democrat president.
And uh we really can't afford to appoint someone like Kavanaugh again, who is like kind of wishy-washy on certain issues.
Uh huh.
So, in my opinion, uh I would appoint Aileen Cannon. That is my personal preference anyway.
Hmm.
Or pretty much any one of the Republican attorney generals, like literally any one of them.
Yeah. I mean, that according to some sources, Alito doesn't like. There's conflicting reports. I mean, like, I think last year there were sources that were saying that Alito was like getting like kind of tired of Supreme Court justice, but according like to some people, he doesn't plan on retiring soon. But I do think we need to appoint. We need to get Thomas and Alito to retire.
Sorry, you said Alito?
Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is that there was conflicting reports because last year it was said that Alito was getting tired of being a justice on the Supreme Court, and then like shortly before inauguration, they said that Alito didn't want to plan on retiring anytime soon. I mean, when you're older, your work and your family is basically the only things you have left. So
Right. Yeah.
I still hope that both him and Thomas retire in Trump's term because on the chance that we lose the 2028 election, um,
Which is very slim right now, in my opinion. But
I think it's way too early to tell. But
yeah.
in the off chance that we do lose it, then we would need someone. We need to replace them now because God forbid
Right.
they serve that Democrat president serves 2 terms.
Yeah. Um. Uh. Oh, yeah. And we were talking about the executive orders. We got way off topic
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
But um. So yeah, we just have to see how all that plays out. But the other executive orders that Trump signed were the immigration related ones, like he reinstated the Remain in Mexico thing. Um, he eliminated catch and release. And he eliminated asylum seekers, at least for the time being. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but
Yeah.
yeah, people seeking political asylum. So yeah, um, and Trump also signed a bunch of executive orders on diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff. So he basically just kind of nuked the whole DEI thing with a couple of different executive orders. Um, he withdrew from the World Health Organization, which is huge. I don't even think Trump did that during his first term,
I don't think
actually.
so. I think
Um,
I think he did something about what was it called, the N something, the NHS,
NAFTA?
the
Are you talking about NAFTA?
no, I'm talking about NHS or something. I don't know. I
Oh,
think he did something about one of those health organizations, and it's at the end of his first term, but it got like revoked by Biden.
ah. Um, And the last thing, this was like completely out of left field. I didn't expect him to do this either, which was that he frees like like 90% of all foreign aid, including that to Ukraine. The only ones uh, that didn't get frozen were NATO allies or people that had uh, we had a treaty agreement with.
Which
Um,
mainly includes Israel and
yeah.
Egypt, which I think
People are a little mad about, but it's like there's not. we're not gonna solve that problem anytime soon,
Tr-
you know?
Trump is a puppet of the Egyptians. That's all I'm saying.
Real.
Oh, and also he once again withdrew from the Paris Climate Accords, which is kind of funny. We've been in it, out of it, uh, back in, and then back out. It's got like we joined, left, joined, left. It's like pretty funny. It's like pointless because no country, none of those countries are serious about ending climate change. Like, literally,
Right.
the biggest contributors of climate change, China and India, have done like nothing, and we just give them free money to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's very useless, and I hope that we stay out of it.
Um, is there anything else I missed as far as executive orders? Those were like the big ones, I thought.
Uh, I mean, then there was like mainly symbolic ones, like the executive order about like only two genders, and then there's executive order about within 100 days to like look into the cost of living crisis and provide immediate relief, but that's
Oh
going to take
yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Which,
And my kind of worry with that is that people are just going to start panicking if prices are the same in like 6 months,
yeah,
and then we'll lose the House and Senate, and Trump will be a lame duck president. So I just hope that we get kind of rolling on
oh,
that because voters have very short attention
we
spans.
will only lose the House realistically. The Senate, we
The Senate is not going anywhere.
the
Yeah.
the Democrats could have the best night ever in 2026, and it'll still be a Republican majority.
They'd still only have, or yeah, they'd still only have like 49 seats if they have a really, that's like best case scenario.
Yeah, but I think I do think that that needs to like happen, and it needs to happen soon because his literal like tagline of his campaign was "Trump will fix it,"
Yeah,
and people remember how things were in his first term when we were like at a comfortable pace. So
right. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the gist of everything that Trump has signed just in the past 2 weeks. But just over the last like couple of days, there's been a whole argument about because Trump, this was something Trump campaigned on, is that he promised to start tariffing pretty much every country um, uh, to incentivize things that he wants to get out of it, and mainly to have stuff made in America. But I think this is mostly a topic that you wanted to talk about.
yes,
So,
okay. So I used to be a I used to fall for like the boomer slop thing that nothing negative happens to us with tariffs. They do. Like, if blanket tariffs are not a good thing, like they are, it's a pretty bad policy. It's an archaic policy. What it does is it's basically the same as when Democrats say they're going to place like um, a tax on billionaires, which is that it just raises the cost for everything. So what I think, what I think Trump should do is targeted tariffs, like he did in his first term, on certain products that are made in China, and um, use it as a negotiation threat. Because I mean, it worked pretty well so far. The 25% blanket tariffs on Canada and Mexico, all that fear mongering was for nothing because they caved to Trump. Let's make it clear, they caved to Trump. Trump did not cave to them. They
right, yeah,
added stuff to their previous agreements with the Biden administration um, that they didn't before. So um, basically, this is how I think tariffs should be used. Because if you institute like a blanket tariff on everything, you're going to see the cost of living crisis go up. And even if it's a long-term positive thing for like manufacturing in the Rust Belt and all that stuff. Uh, Again, voters have a very short attention spans, so if they see that the
Right.
cost of living goes up after Donald Trump promised he'd bring it down, then his approvals are going to tank and the Republicans will lose the midterms like badly.
Yeah.
Like we could go into the midterms, have like a red trickle. We could go into the uh, midterms with a blue trickle, and then we could go into it with a blue wave. We need to get it to either a blue trickle or a red trickle. I mean, I don't know how much I have faith in a red trickle happening, but if it's like a reverse 2022, then I will see that as mostly a victory.
Yeah.
So that's
The
how.
thing is, though, if they get the House, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
I was just saying, like, I was explaining tariffs for people who don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
know Trump talks big talk about it, but obviously he's not right on everything. And this was the one of the issues that I was getting worried about. But once Canada and Mexico caved, that's when I started to see the plan in action.
Trust the plan. No, what I was saying though was that uh the thing is, if we lose the House in 2026, I don't know how much more we're gonna be able to do, honestly. That's why I find it kind of hard to believe that we're gonna lose the House, is because I don't really think um it's not like 2022 where Trump like kind of didn't campaign for the candidates really, because it was a Biden presidency and it was just kind of, you know, um, low effort,
Uh-huh.
if you will. I think Trump will be a lot more involved in the midterms in 2026 for that reason, because he needs both chambers in order to finish the whole agenda, or
And
else nothing is getting through.
and even if we lose the House, I still believe that Trump will be able to get do some good because I remember in his first term in the 2018 blue wave for the House, he
Yeah,
still managed to have a pretty successful final years, except for COVID, of course.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
all the Democrats did is they would do the fucking impeachments, and then Trump would do the what do you call it? And like they passed some of his agenda, I believe. So
yeah.
I think
I guess it really just depends on how big or small the majority that they would get is. If it's only like a 1 or 2 seat majority, then you have like some of the Hispanic majority district reps that will kind of lean towards Trump and vote with him some of the time, because they know that they're screwed pretty much if they don't. That's why, like, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Henry
that
Keller. I don't really
yeah,
know.
something like I just call him Seller.
Yeah. um, he is like kind of trying to rebrand himself as more of a moderate because of like where his district is going. Him and who's the guy that uh Myra Flores ran against
I think
back.
that his name was Vincent Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, yeah, Vincente Gonzalez or
Uh-huh.
whatever. Yeah, both of those guys are kind of like trying to rebrand themselves as moderates because their district is like +5 Trump now
Hmm.
or whatever.
Trump won both of them, I believe.
Yeah. Um, but um, anyway, off topic again. Back to the tariffs.
That's basically all I have to say about tariffs. They're a pretty bad economic policy, but in like in how can utilize Trump can utilize them very effectively.
Right. Yeah.
I think that I don't think all tariffs are bad. Like even Biden kept the China tariffs on China. So
Yeah.
it's not like all bad, but the way that Trump was doing it was definitely fear mongering other countries, which is how it should stay.
Mhm. And um, the thing is, we probably like being realistic. Um, we would be able to fund the entire country off of tariffs and not need to like levy taxes on anybody. But the problem is, like you said, just the appearance of that and the unpopularity, because it would at first make prices go up, but it'd be like a long-term thing. And I just really like to see that someday, but obviously that's not happening like anytime soon.
So, for that to happen, from what I looked into, I think you would need to cut the government like substantial, like very substantial, like even further than Trump has been doing. And
Yeah.
I think that's the only way it could really work.
Well, regardless, yeah, so the tariff thing was pretty crazy with how fast everything happened because he did Colombia first after they refused to take the deportations, and then they freaked out and offered the presidential plane,
Hmm.
and and the tariffs were gone like just a couple hours later, and then there were the why did I type that? The Mexico and Canada tariffs, um, which were both withdrawn like 24 hours later.
Hmm.
In uh, um, what do you call it? Like in return for concessions like the fentanyl crisis and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I thought that whole like thing was just crazy in the way that like it just happened so quickly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I agree with you that Trump should keep using them this way and just like tariff the fuck out of anybody else. Like he should uh he should pretty much try and like threaten all of our enemies with tariffs
I mean,
to get whatever he wants.
that's what he threatened with Russia as well,
Yeah.
and basically with the what do you call it? I think like shortly after the election, the UK, like shortly after the presidential election, the UK said that we're discussing in Parliament about like buying like American gas and oil, like avoid Trump's tariffs, which seems to be working because I don't think he's announced any sort of tariff on the United Kingdom yet. But
Yeah.
if he wants something, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts like weaponizing them again.
Right. Yeah. Um. Okay. And the next thing is a couple of days ago, just in the span of like 48 hours, there were two plane crashes, which I thought was kind of strange. But the annoying thing is that they keep blaming it on President Trump by saying that he caused both of these crashes
Yeah,
somehow.
even Hillary Clinton spread that misinformation.
Yeah. Uh, so I just want to quickly address like some of the weird things about both of these crashes. Um, is that the DC crash was with a helicopter and a passenger plane, and it was the plane was on descent into Reagan International Airport, and it was over top of the Potomac. Um, the helicopter had absolutely no telecoms or lights on whatsoever. It was dark. It was flying blind, pretty much. And if you look at its flight path, it like adjusted course abruptly, like four different times, like it was out of control or something,
Uh huh.
which probably caused the accident. Um, and I haven't really confirmed this, so don't quote me on this, but somebody at least in the crew, I'm not sure if it's the pilot, but they're saying it's the pilot, was a possible DEI hire. Um, some woman that was constantly posting things about anti-Trump things and stuff like on her social media.
Uh,
Um, so the whole thing just kind of smells really funny to me because there was nothing really normal about it.
I mean,
And I'm not trying to,
there's been even more
sorry.
crashes, um, as of late. Um, and I especially hated when they blamed Secretary Duffy for it on his
Yeah.
very first day. Like literally the plane crash, and I saw some people blaming him, and a lot of these people, I bet you are misinformed, and they think like the whole president's cabinet has been like installed on day one, and
Yeah. They probably don't actually know how it
so
works.
literally he got sworn in the morning, and then like at the very late night this happened. So that's one hell of a
Yeah.
first day.
Right. Yeah.
I think they'll
Um,
get it under control. It's just like there's so much misinformation being put out, like by even both sides. Like it's clearly worse on the Democrat side, but on I saw some like there was some like I think there was just some troll posts that it was some like transgender individual.
it wasn't a
Yeah,
transgender person. That was like that was fake because the person that they were saying it was came back on Facebook and like did a video and she was like, "I'm still live. It wasn't me."
yeah.
Yeah.
So there was
But
just a lot of
they're
like
saying
fake stories being put out that day.
yeah, but they are saying that there was that the pilot was some kind of was just like a woman that was like really vehemently anti-Trump, and I haven't really confirmed that, so I don't know if that's like true or not.
Yeah,
And I don't want to politicize it, but it'd be like really interesting timing
yeah. That's
if that happened.
yeah. It's best not to ever like politicize one of these sorts of tragedies because that's what the other side likes to do. Um,
Right.
but like even if it was a woman who was anti-Trump, it is very unfortunate that all passengers of the plane died. I think there was
Yeah.
like actually no survivors. So
There wasn't. They're saying this is the worst crash since that one over that one over JFK Airport right after 9/11.
uh huh.
It was pretty much the worst one since then, and there was like 500 people that died that day.
Oh shit. So yeah, that's
Um,
yeah.
um, and the other one that happened was the Philadelphia crash.
Hmm.
And in the video, which is just like dash cam, you can see the person is driving along when all of a sudden, like 2 seconds later, this passenger plane is just heading straight down into the ground and just explodes on impact.
Uh huh.
Um, nobody really knows anything about that one right now, besides the fact that it was some kind of medical flight and it was heading at 1,000 feet or 11,000 feet per minute, which is pretty much at a 90-degree angle. So something went really, really wrong there, and I don't think any survivors were reported for that one either, or at least not yet, anyway.
Yeah, and I think there's like another. I don't know, like if this was the one, if this was the Philadelphia one, it was like it was like it was a smaller plane than the passenger aircraft that crashed into the Reagan Center. Um, but I've just noticed like there's actually been so many of these like sort of crashes like recently that it's like it is. I could see why people would think that it's like something um like some foul play has to be involved. I'm not gonna like say that that's what's happening because uh, it's I don't think that's the right thing to do. But
Right.
I completely understand why some people would think that it's like foul plays involved.
Yeah. We just need to find out what happened. Yeah, eventually because they're still investigating everything and not really anything is known yet, and maybe nothing will be known, who knows?
Yeah,
But
but hopefully we get like some resolution to this because it's actually kind of like scary that it's happening so much now.
Yeah. Um, so there's that, and just over the past couple of weeks, um, like you were saying, um, Sean Duffy was confirmed by the Senate and sworn in. There were a couple of other ones who have been confirmed, mostly like the easy ones, like Rubio, Bissent, Ratcliffe, Nome, and Sean Duffy. Um,
Bondi got confirmed too,
yeah, I
against
was gonna address that separately though,
against
but
Adam Schiff's like protest. I
yeah,
can't believe that
but
motherfucker's a senator. He's like Jesus Christ. When
yeah,
California sends people to the Senate, they're not sending their best.
no, they're not.
Like
um,
I genuinely preferred. Uh, Porter was like an unhinged socialist, but Schiff is just like he was solely responsible almost for the mistrust being placed into the 2016 elections because they couldn't believe
mhm,
that the white working class would revolt against the Democrats in the Rust Belt. And so they said it must have been Russia. So that motherfucker is like, he's in the Senate. He got like promoted because even after all the damage he caused to our country. I just wanted to go
yeah,
off on a little rant right there. Like, I can't believe he's in the fucking Senate.
yeah. You remember when Kevin McCarthy said that we could win that Senate seat? That Steve Garvey could win?
I mean, believe it or not, he is the person with the most Republican votes of any like one candidate aside from
Yeah,
presidential elections in history. He did pretty well, and Adam Schiff did underperform, but
yeah. I think Garvey actually overperformed Trump.
yeah, he did because mainly probably because he's like he even won Orange County, I think,
Yeah.
which went has gone Democrat in the past few elections, but I think they saw him as like a Reagan-esque figure. I mean, do you think he could have won if he was instead running in the Nevada Senate race?
In Nevada?
Yeah,
Uh,
because he would have been more.
genuinely don't know.
He's because I think the reason why he didn't like endorse Trump or anything is because it's fucking California and that's
Yeah.
but
If he ties himself to Trump, that's like he's losing by 40
yeah
points, you know?
in Nevada I think he would. I mean, he clearly voted for Trump. Let's not make it clear. He's not like a Phil Scott type. I mean, he literally
Yeah.
called out Adam Schiff for his lies. But in
Hmm.
Nevada, I think he could have been like either Nevada or Arizona. I think he would have won.
Yeah. Maybe. I really don't know. To be honest with you, like I genuinely do not know. Um, but um so yeah, the easy ones have been confirmed already out of Trump's cabinet. There was Hegseth, who was one of the hardest so far, um, and he needed Vance to come and break the tie because McConnell, Murkowski, and Collins all voted against him. Bondi was just confirmed, as you said, a couple of days ago, and that was like right along party lines. So even some of the rhinos voted for Bondi.
Mhm.
But the surprising thing was Fetterman broke party lines to vote for Bondi,
I have no clue
which was
why he did it.
he was just trying to. I think he's grifting, if you want my honest opinion. I think he's trying to make himself look like a moderate, by voting for some of Trump's like a few of Trump's nominees, but he's not going to vote against like the ones that really matter. Like he already said he's never voting for RFK or Gabbard.
Yeah.
Um,
Which okay. Uh, Going on to that. Adding on to that topic. Gabbard, I'm surprised, has the support of Senator Collins.
yeah, that did surprise me. But that's what I mean is that Fetterman will vote for the nominees when he knows it's already like they already have enough votes. Like Fetterman voted for Rubio, I'm pretty sure, and
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure he voted for Ratcliffe as well.
Mhm.
Like if Fetterman will use it as a grift kind of to vote on the ones he knows already have it. But the ones where it's like gonna be kind of tough, like Gabbard, he's gonna vote against, and it's just kind of it's a fakeade to try and appear like a moderate, but we all really know he's not.
given that it looks like Trump, I mean Trump's getting RFK and Gabbard in without any like, well, it's looking like an easier path than I initially thought.
Yeah.
Um, the unironically, the hardest confirmation left might 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 be Linda McMahon, mainly because
Mainly because of the education department stuff. Yeah, I would probably agree with you. I see the point you're trying to make.
yeah, because basically Trump said in the Oval Office not too long ago that he wants it to be Linda McMahon's job to basically be out of a job.
Yeah.
I don't really have any sort of like expectations that she'll actually like that the Department of Education will be like shut down, but maybe it could be like
Well, that was another executive order that Trump signed just in the past like couple of days. Is he signed something asking the states to like take back their power from the education department? But the thing is, like, all the blue ones are just gonna ignore it and not really listen,
uh,
so it doesn't have much of an impact. But
it's
yeah,
still a he's still trying to do something about it.
yeah. Um, so the big ones that are left are RFK, Gabbard, and Kash Patel, who have all made it out of committee, I believe.
Mhm.
Unless is Cash still need to get out of committee, or
I think he might. Let me see.
I I know RFK and Gabbard at least have made it out of committee, and it was like a one vote difference pretty much. Like I think Gabbard was 9-8, and I think RFK's was 13-12.
Okay, so for what I'm looking at right now, the Democrats delayed the committee vote on Kash Patel, but I
Okay,
expect him to be confirmed because even the rhinos in the Senate said that he has the
yeah,
votes.
right. Um, so yeah, we have a good like portion of Trump's cabinet already in, and some of the big ones are probably going to take office soon. Um, what I find interesting about this is that Mark Wayne Mullen, of all people, is being like the most based and transparent about all of the confirmation votes, and like he's actually been kind of like a reliable source to follow for all of the details on this.
I mean, he
Maybe
did.
he's
I mean,
trying to
maybe McConnell duped him, but with the Hexeth vote, he did say that McConnell was a yes. But knowing McConnell, I would not be surprised if he said one thing to Senator Mullen and then did something
and then did
completely.
something different. Yeah,
He did the same thing to the president, like in his first term, if I recall
yeah.
correctly. So
Um,
he's going to be a thorn in the side, but I think we'll get there.
but I just find it interesting the way Mark Wayne Mullen is like actually being kind of based lately. It's it's weird and it's surprising, but at the same time it's not because I feel like maybe he's trying to avoid some kind of primary challenge, which let's face it, probably isn't happening. Like he's not getting primaried, but
No,
we could try.
he's not. He's not going to get primaried, mainly because I mean I thought he was going to be a thorn in the president's side after the election, especially during the leadership vote, which I will admit Thune has been remarkably good. Like I'm just I'm he voted he got Hexeth through. He has been like supporting the president's agenda, and
Yeah.
I'm just genuinely surprised that he's been anyways he was he basically told Trump to stay out of the leadership vote, and then I thought he would be like he would continue being a rhino, but he's like genuinely become based. Yes, I mean he literally called out the Democrat senators for pretending to be holier than thou, and he basically said that you know how many times I've like about Hegseth. There was basically saying how many times he's seen some of his Democrat colleagues come into work drunk. So,
Yeah.
and basically said like how many I did he call out like the cheating allegations? Like
I don't really know,
that'd be
but I
pretty
know
funny
he
because
was like really.
that
He's been
that would be really
pushing
funny.
all of.
That
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
it's all right. That'd be pretty funny because you know, like a good chunk of those like Democrats in the Senate are probably not the most faithful to their partners. I mean, DT is literally
No,
a
no, no.
cesspit. Anyways, go ahead.
Um, I was just gonna say that, yeah, he's been pushing like really hard all of the nominees, which I wasn't expecting him to do at all. And like I said, he's been the only transparent senator through the whole process. It's like posting, okay, here's what we're doing today. We're doing the committee vote tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. or whatever, and it's genuinely surprising. But yeah,
Uh,
so that's sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that just brought something else to mind. Another one that might be a little trickier. Well, I don't think it will be because of like the things that are gonna, the elements that are at play here. But Lori Chavez de Reamer, Rand Paul came out
Yeah.
and said that he won't be voting for her, mainly because
I
Rand.
think that one's going to be really easy because she's going to get a bunch of Democrats.
Yeah,
I think you're going to be surprised,
it's because
honestly.
let's not. Rand Paul is good on some issues, but genuinely, those like side of like the Republican Party legitimately hates workers. So
Yeah.
that's why they're. I mean, like I saw one of those like fucking retard lolberts on Twitter saying that they would have appointed Scott Walker to
Oh,
the Secretary of Labor when Scott Walker is probably one of the he probably is like the what do you call it the prime example of a union busting anti-worker Republican,
right. Yeah.
which I think we should
Um,
expand our like. I don't care what these other people say. We need to actually expand our base into the union demographic because though they're
mhm.
ripe for the taking, and these people just hate workers. So fuck them.
Yeah. Pe- Rand Paul and like what was it? Two other senators were trying to introduce like the most stupid bill to try and raise the retirement age to 68 or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, they're just clowns, and I don't understand that side of the Republican Party,
yeah. That
because it's weird because like some of those people have really good takes, but like also just really garbage shit takes. So it's just like far and few between.
yeah.
Okay. So the last thing here, and I think you wanted to talk about this, is that the DNC had their leadership
Oh
election
fuck.
a few days ago, and they pretty much doubled down on all of their radicalism and not trying to really fix the party at all or fix any of their problems, um, which I find pretty funny. Um, so yeah, if you want to talk about all that.
Okay, so Ken Martin, the urban elitist, who basically said to his base that we're gonna take money from the good billionaires, not the bad billionaires, and then they chose some no name Latin X from like I think it was like one of the southern states, and Dave,
Texas, I believe.
David Hogg and Malcolm Pinata from your state.
Yeah.
Um,
Who, by the way, lost Center County, which Trump didn't even uh, uh, Trump didn't even win Center County, but Malcolm Kenyatta managed to lose Center County to Tim DeFore and Dauphin County, I believe. He also lost Dauphin County, which is just a ridiculously, hilariously poor underperformance in the state of Pennsylvania. But
Oh yeah,
uh,
they let's see. So Timothy DeFore. Let's see. I'm looking up. He got 51%, 51.13%. Malcolm Kenyatta got 49, 40. No, 45.94%. Let's see the.
yeah,
Let's see how much he underperformed. So he got 3,135,412 votes. 24 election. Let me look up Pennsylvania. Okay, let's look at Pennsylvania right now. Oh god, that's such a bad underperformance. Like,
right? Yeah, like, and that's the new symbol of the Democrat Party, you know? And the thing about Malcolm Kenyatta is when you try to listen to him talk, you'll notice that like he's trying to sound like the next Martin Luther King Jr. And he talks like this, and he'll start like he'll raise his voice and start yelling
like
things, you
dude,
know?
he got promoted despite constantly looking for a job promotion and losing miserably. Um,
Mhm.
the only elections he has ever managed to win are his safe blue state senate. This is safe blue state senate seat in Pennsylvania, which
Yeah,
a glass of water could have a D next to its name and win.
yeah. Pretty much. I think he's from Philly. I think that's like a really inner deep Philly seat
Nothing
somewhere.
Philly, as I
But
like to call it.
yeah,
I bet you he even underperformed there. I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised.
probably. Um, so yeah,
Basically, the Democrats have learned zero lessons. This is the thing that okay, let me explain to you what happened. In 2016, they lost by being elitists, and they didn't learn their lessons. In 2020, in 2020, they were bound to lose again, and then COVID happened, which made them think that they didn't have to change course. And then 2024 happened. So basically, this timeline diverged at 2020 when Joe Biden was supposed to lose until COVID happened. And so it really delayed the Democrats' soul searching by like 4 years. Like
yeah, pretty
they
much.
so, from what I'm looking at, they're not going to learn their lessons still.
Yeah,
So
which makes 2028 and 2026 for that matter very, very easy for us.
yeah,
Like if we fumble the House with this awful leadership that the Democrats have, like I wouldn't know what to think, honestly.
let's see.
Because I
David
don't
Hawk.
if they continue up with this messaging, I don't see them holding the House, like or taking the House, I mean. Like I genuinely cannot see it happening. With all of the shifts that are happening among Hispanics and like in all these districts that we're going to pick up easily in 2026, like I genuinely do not see it happening.
I mean, let's look at David Hogg politicizing his classmate's death, and then basically saying good riddance to Mary Peltola, who is representing Alaska. Like, you want her to be anti-gun in Alaska? Good luck.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what he was saying there was he basically said Peltola was a terrible candidate because she wasn't hard enough on gun control. She needs to be more anti-gun, more pro-gun grabbing.
Uh huh.
Which, like, really, is that your messaging?
Yeah.
Do you think that's gonna win, like, nationwide?
Peltola
Really?
was one of the only sane Democrats, basically, in the House.
She
She,
pretended to be,
I mean, yeah,
but
but
like,
on the specifically on the issues of guns, she was not the worst
Yeah,
Democrat. So if they like if they were smart, they would follow that. But with Hagen leadership, I doubt it.
right. And I'm surprised that they didn't actually pick Adam Frisch as one of their as one of the vice chairs
He
because
has
he like
he, he has
did so well in the Colorado race. No matter, and I think there was probably like some funny business happening, but he is like kind of like a B plus tier candidate for the Democrats, and he did way better than Kenyatta of all people, and Hogg, who's never run for election in his life. You know,
yeah. Let me look at this up actually. Um, hold on.
but Adam Frisch got like 3 votes in the vice chair election, which like, and they were saying that they were gonna like, or people were saying that the Democrat Party was gonna try to moderate themselves and like kind of swing towards the center. If you wanted to do that, you should have picked Frisch, like
He
genuinely.
was a
That would have
couple votes. He was a couple hundred votes away from defeating Boebert
Boobert.
in a R+7 state.
Yeah,
And well, let's see. He ran again in 2024, but the Republican did much better this time. So maybe it was just because Boebert was like a
it's
bit,
just that district doesn't like Lauren Boebert
yeah,
like really at
because
all.
he won by this guy. Sh she was not very popular in the district, and from what I'm looking at, he to replace Jeff Hurd, he won by like 6 points.
Yeah,
So
he's just kind of a generic normie Republican. That's kind of why he won by so much over there.
yeah, so but the funny thing is that Adam Frisch had more qualifications than all of them combined. He was
Right.
he was one of the people saying we need to do rural outreach and not just like saying it for the fuck of it like the other leaders do. And
Hmm.
he got only 3 votes. I mean, it's a clown party that we're running against.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. With that, I am gonna go ahead and uh, sign off here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We are gonna try to do a stream again at some point this month. Um, this will be available on YouTube and Spotify, probably within the next 24 hours or so after recording this. And I will post it when it is. Um, and see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed.
All right, see you guys.